Welcome back to the Injury Prone Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Edwin Porras, Doctor of Physical Therapy, Medical Analyst, FantasyPoints.com. Gracias por tus oídos. Today, we're going to get into a couple of guys who were injured. Obviously, there's some big news coming out from an injury perspective. Make sure you follow the podcast, subscribe. I owe you an apology. I recorded the Week 13 preview. For some reason, the audio didn't get picked up, so we couldn't post it. We'll try to avoid that from happening again. But in the meantime, I'm here at the new Pro Athlete Physical Therapy headquarters. Stop by if you're in Denver. You're a Denver athlete, come on by. We'll get you out of pain and ready to roll. But nonetheless, it is time to talk fantasy football injuries, right? We're rolling into Week 14. The news is obvious. We don't need to, linger here too long. Christian McCaffrey out with the PCL injury. Man, what a ride for him. An unfortunate 24, We'll be back in 2025. We also got news, Jordan Mason, high ankle sprain, likely out the rest of the fantasy football season and the NFL season, the way the 49ers season is going right now. So those two guys are out. I don't need to be the first to tell you, go get Isaac Guerendo, spend as much fab as you need to, and get him on the roster. The next guy we'll talk about here is Dallas Goedert with the PCL sprain is what it looked like on video. This is exactly what Dalton Kincaid is dealing with. This is exactly the thing that you don't want to see in Dallas Goedert, but of course, Devontae Smith will likely be back this week, so he's going to fill in any of those targets that need filling in. Dallas Goedert likely can return. The soonest is Week 16, but I wouldn't necessarily anticipate that since the Eagles are even thinking about putting him on IR. The last guy that I'm getting a lot of questions on is Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey is, of course, dealing with a couple things now. He had the AC sprain a couple weeks ago. Now he's dealing with his knee thing, but he was able to finish the game. He came back. I wouldn't be surprised if he was limited in practice or didn't practice at all, just so he can stay right. Dude is a beast, doing really well. I do expect him to play next week. That's really all the major highlights. Guys that could return this week, so keep an eye out for them at practice. Of course, Alexander Mattison could come back. Dalton Kincaid, potentially. Chris Olave, depending on what the team wants to do with him and the direction the Saints want to go, could come back, and Zamir White could also be back this week. Those are a couple of guys that you should keep an eye on. And then the last guy, especially if you're a contender, there is a chance, an outside chance, but still a chance, Hollywood Brown is back by the fantasy football playoffs, and we all know that offense could use something. That offense could use a deep threat, at least somebody that could go underneath. I don't know how much of an impact specifically Hollywood Brown will have, but I do think that he could open up the offense just enough to help all the pieces around him. So go stash Hollywood Brown if he's on your waiver wires. Other than that, that is all for today. Good luck in Week 14.